Okay, so I don't want to make so many audio videos that where it's a little too draining for any of you to tolerate. Um, but it shouldn't be too difficult for you. I mean, it's all together right now. They're probably only equal to the length of a feature film. So you're not sacrificing much of your time to know what you do need to know. Um, so where I'm going with this recording today is Sunday, May 25th, 2025. So that's 52525. Uh, and it is right now, it's exactly 8 o'clock in the morning. Not that that's relevant, but or significant or necessary. It's just that I don't have notes in front of me. I have things that I'm thinking about that I really want to say, but I didn't take any notes, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that I wanted to record and where to start. Yet this is so important. Okay, so important. Okay, so the perps involved in this very real um, conspiracy and ev- don't let that word get to you and be skeptic. I mean, this is beyond conspiracy, and it's for everybody's good because these very very real criminals are advanced today because of our advanced technology. See, this craft that is real and should never be shrugged off as fantasy or what's the word I'm looking for, or mythology. This is something that um, either you're involved, so of course you know about it, and you are demanded to keep it hush hush because it's a secret society, or chances are you simply don't believe that it's a real, true, powerful reality. Um, because it's really a society, and understood that we live in a society of uh, I have to see it to believe it. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. And uh, that's understandable uh, considering the fact that in the balance of humanity, not everybody's going to be the same. So uh, there are many people who are limited in their thinking um, when they say, uh, "I'll I'll believe it when I see it." When who's the great motivational speaker that says, "I'll see it when I believe it"? Well, anyway, okay, so that's just a motivational thing about the power of success. So we're not going there right now. I'm I'm giving information that many people do know all about it. Yet the ones who really know about it, they're right under your noses, and there's many of them, but they will not let you know that they know about it. They will uh, share uh, an opinion th- that sounds like they that they don't believe, and people like me are just crazy. because that's what they want you to think, and that is their success, and it's been going on for centuries. Uh, while now, due to modern technology, these criminals are taking big chances uh, and using their power in a way that can actually be where they could be caught. The only thing is they're also using that their powers on extraordinary levels to manipulate society, to manipulate authorities, and just people in general to yet be more uh, skeptic about believing what they don't see. So while we're evolving as a society and a race, the human race is evolving, understanding more about the fundamentals of quantum physics and the nature of personal reality, and that you create your own reality, and that you are mind, you are awareness, and your mind is uh, is more than uh, we ever knew in our realizations of who we are. But at the same time, there are just as many people who are not necessarily digressing, but becoming more in the bliss of ignorance and more in real true denial, where they don't even know they're in denial and their senses are dulled. So we have that balance, just like we do, whether you believe it or not. It is a fact, and you could share your opinion, but the fact is that there are just as many churches for Satan as there are for Christ. It's just that they don't have a steeple, they don't make it publicly known, but they're there. Some run churches out of their own private homes. Uh, some have there are a lot of undergrounds, literally undergrounds. There are homes that have actually hidden doors, people who have dug into their own floors and share underground areas. I don't want to jump right uh, into anything that you might be skeptic of, as far as giving you probable locations or things like that. I want to stick with the fact that there are locations. But I will be in the future. I will be um, once this one location of this small apartment, one specific location, once that's revealed and you see that I'm actually telling the truth and that the truth will finally prevail, um, that is going to be pretty huge and is going to lead to much bigger locations, as far as uh, real underground um, modern technology dungeons where there are very elaborate, engineered, um, physical. Uh, uh, they're not rides like at a carnival. They're very modern, using hydroponics and sophisticated technology to spin people, or different ways of messing with people's minds as torture chambers. They're not old school dungeons with, you know, old school torture chambers, and I'm pretty sure that you all know that those were in an existence. Yet, please don't deny that they still are, but they're modern and far advanced, and there are evil engineers, evil doctors, and there are a lot of people who work for the city who are involved in this very real Satanism, um, and even um, the possibility of uh, some of our most trusted, loved politicians. But I would never point the finger at anybody, and I would not agree that uh, right now that we have anybody that's known about it. I believe that we're a state that truly stands for democracy, and and we are very much here in California, very much in support of the minorities, and that's beautiful. Yet, uh, if this is over, what I'm the information that I'm giving here is shrugged off and or humored and overlooked, um, there is a really, really good chance that because I'm at my wits' end and that I'm going to make sure that sometime in the near future, I'm going to make sure that it the truth prevail and that these um, victims are hopefully rescued. N- Uh, I'll explain what my hopes to this is because they know everything, and and which stretches out way beyond the apartment that they're in, because these if because they know so much, that these perps may try to burn down the apartment in order to not let the thousands of people in Los Angeles alone to have to, um, I mean, different levels of personal sacrifices that will have to be made. And the Satanists do not want to let that happen, all because of little old me. I just happen to be um, somebody who is a victim of, and now I didn't know until only about a year ago now, that I've been made aware. Actually, no, it hasn't been a whole year. It was August of last year when I was informed for the first time, where I didn't even believe it right away, that I had been an unknowing victim from the get go of my first 911 call, or just prior to my first 911 call, when I thought I was getting kidnapped victims saved, that I was actually set up by my ex and some other girls that she got involved that know me and they're willing. Meanwhile, the ones who were not willing to be evil are the ones who I heard who uh, were able to um, know about these children that were supposed to be they were led to believe that I was there's some crazy stuff that I was the one who subjected them uh, to the films that these terrible criminals are making money with. They needed a fall guy, and that's why I was set up to undergo their horrible, real spells and other invasions of my privacy. And I was set up by my ex in this apartment. It's quite a story, and I really want to tell the whole thing. But like I said in another recording, I want to make sure that I have, so I only have to go over it one time, that I'm able to go over it as a real testimonial, uh, in a courtroom with the whole panel of our local politicians, and and without interruption, me to tell the entire story just once, on film so I don't have to be so exhausted in telling it over again. And I will be under oath, telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. And I do firmly believe in God, and so I would never ever lie under oath. Um, so I'll tell this story. So the thing I wanted to really do here in this recording is give a few names, um, to hopefully get when, um, whether it's now or after the thing that I was about to say, that I'm willing that I have to I'm not I have no notes in front of me, so I'm branching off, and I want to make sure I cover what different things that I'm, as I'm branching off right now, and there are different things that I want to cover and say. And by the end of this recording, I should have done that, and you'll understand better what it is that, um, why I'm being so sporadic right now. But I do have very, very good points to make. And by the end of this, you should have a really greater understanding. Or end of this, I mean, I'm up to almost 17 minutes. So I really don't want to go past 25 on this, but it's worth everything for you to tolerate listening to it. Okay, so uh, God, see, so now I lost track of. Really need to start writing down everything I'm thinking before I make these recordings, so I do it properly. But I didn't have what I need in front of me, but I just have phone, so I'm taking verbal notes right now, and I'll be uploading this. But okay, so I'm going to give a few names of people that I'm directly uh, familiar with, who I have not personally spoken with now in a good 20 years, and over 20 years, as far as, um, yeah, just a few names. But what they would most likely not be willing to do, which I'm willing to do, is right now I'm willing to wear a tracking device, like somebody who's on home arrest, and with a key lock on an ankle. I'm willing to wear that right now, throughout from this point throughout, when justice finally prevails, just so my whereabouts and where I live, there are cameras in all my hallways, out in front. I'm right here on 7th and Wall, right around the corner from the police station on 6th and Wall. Um, Cameras are everywhere. So as long as I'm wearing the tracking device, and I use public transportation, so my tap card will always be able to confirm when I'm, that where my whereabouts are. And I want to be under 24-hour surveillance, and I would love to see the results of whether or not these names that I'm going to give you, if they're willing to do the same, when they're just so involved in the worst crimes that are really going on. And some of them are so bad that that if you're not involved, you wouldn't necessarily believe it, because it goes all the way uh, to the level of cannibalism that are in some actual local mom and pop type restaurants and whatnot, that some people don't even know that they're actually what they're eating. And I'm not going to get too into that right now, but hey, you don't want to use your opinion on what I'm saying right now. Don't use your personal opinions when the fact remains the fact. Okay, so and if you have any authority, you do not want to second guess this. You cannot afford to let it go, because And that's going to be the other thing. There's two things I want to do. I want to drop a couple names, and then I want to explain um, what it is that I'm willing to do at some point in time in the near future to make sure that uh, the truth be surfaced and prevail, where it may cost my life to do it. And that's why I'm not ready to do it, because I have to break the law and take the law into my own hands in order for this to happen. And which most likely I would have to take X amount of bullets uh, for me to do. So there's a very uh, small chance of me surviving if I do it. And I won't do it until I'm sure that I could get. Uh, I would have to. I want to have a somebody who could witness me from across the street that I'm doing it, but so it doesn't just completely get overlooked. But I would have to break and enter and get to um, get far enough in where the police come uh, and ambulance comes and um, and of course multiple. Uh, I have to make sure that there's multiple police where I would have to have a 911 be making a 911 call myself as soon as I'm going in, letting them know to don't send just one unit because believe it or not, and I know for a fact that because of what I did 10 years ago, which we'll get when I that I'll get into that story another time. One thing at a time here. I Where they knew I was coming and to this actual place, and the arresting officer with me. I trusted this guy who was supposed to be the fire marshal. They knew I was coming. It was set up, and I was lied to, even though this uh, this he pulled up in a real black and white. He just wasn't in a uniform, but he was able to still have me printed and processed and uh, and the witnesses that were at the scene. I want to find out. I need to find out my public defender from back then. Anyway, I was found not guilty by reason of insanity by a wonder with the help of a wonderful angelic DA who could see clearly the truth and why I did what I did. And there was no property damage. Nobody got hurt. And I was able to go into Patton State Mental Hospital, and that was for almost 6 years until during COVID in 2021, a forensic psychiatrist who the chances of this happening are seriously like one in a million. I want to go look at the facts of like so because it was unheard of. I spent 6 years and never heard of one patient ever getting out, and that this was even possible. But I was interviewed in 2021 by a forensic psychiatrist who insisted that I was completely uh, sane and should be let go. It took everything and went over my whole treatments, every one of my treatment team over their heads, uh, and had me released totally free to go about my goals. And I really, I, I really want to get his information because I really want to thank him more. But I cannot locate the arresting officer in the first who in the first place um, when the one fire marshal uh, definitely was involved. He wasn't really even a fire marshal. I can't locate him either. If I'm wrong about that, I mean, I really need them both to come to the surface and explain to me why there wasn't a scene that should have and would have been if it was a legitimate uh, call to the police. I was going to make the 911 call myself, but my phone had slipped into my suitcase on wheels that I had. It slipped down to the bottom, and I didn't have time. So uh, when the people in one of the tenants said, "I'm calling police," and I said, "That's what I want you to do." I was expecting, and due to uh, the crime that I was committing, if I to describe it to you, which I'm willing to do. I guess I mean I'm over 25 minutes now, so that's going to take a long time. But I'll just say I'll just tell you right now I had about 2 dozen Molotov cocktails in this suitcase, and very carefully, without knowing I wasn't going to let there be a real explosion and nobody would be hurt. I knew I was in full control, but police wouldn't know that. And so my thing was rescue mission. My where I planned to. They knew I was coming, so it was all set up, and I didn't realize it at the time. So, but what should have been a major scene, there should have been multiple black and white units pulling up immediately with rifles out and telling me drop that or we're going to shoot, with ambulance and a fire truck. I mean, they're Molotov cocktails, right? Where I was just tossing them into a balcony and they weren't exploding, but there was a little flame, and that was enough. That should be enough. And I'm holding a Molotov cocktail, yelling at this cop and this fire marshal to get inside and rescue what were at that time what I thought were chained up kidnapped people. I didn't know what I've been made aware of just recently about them barricading themselves into a room, and that's how they're still there and still surviving, and they're surviving in a way. I have to explain this to you, and you have to understand that this also cannot be based on any individual opinions when it's a fact. These victims who barricaded themselves in 20 years ago have been surviving on those who have starved to death and gave themselves as a human sacrifice to the for justice to be, and the survival of some. And I'm being told that there are only a few left, and that's why I'm going to the extent of like, I'll do anything at this point. But I've been told that there are multiple bones in this room, and that they have used bone to carve to engrave into other bones names and the whole story and everything, just in case they are burned and or what or just so they get their justice. But there are still survivors, and you need to believe this, the how they've been surviving, and what they're telling me that they look like today, with hair that has grown in 20 years past their feet. It's dragging on the floor. They have literally covered themselves in there's so much human feces. I know this is sick and disgusting, but they they have told me, and how please don't express too much opinion on that. They're see, the reason when I say they told me, they tell me in my mind for real. Do not let this stop you from getting to the facts. You can't afford to base an opinion on what seems impossible, that this reality is impossible. When if when it's when I'll make sure that the proof gets there, and then you have, if you're an authority, you have let your opinion, you have definitely obstructed justice, and you have let your opinion on what you think is impossible override what would only take a minute for you to just use this as probable cause and get to them and rescue them. And you'll be shocked. They are covered in, they deliberately have covered themselves in human feces for a list of reasons. They of the way they look at each other. They don't and the way that it is. You will and they have gone through so much pain where they have no dental. I've been told that they're uh, at least one of them, which terrifies me, is has cancer, and is spreading, and and then and so. But you'll be shocked when you in the rescue mission when you do get in the door, um, that um, you'll only see the whites of their eyes. Meanwhile, they I need to be present during this mission because they will not trust banging on the door saying, "Police, police, open up." See, they're locked in, but they've barricaded, and the perps are locked out, and they won't. The perps are afraid to to try and open the door because they're like savage, and they're very, very strong, and they are willing to take bullets and make their way out because there's a sliding glass door at the balcony only a few feet away from the door that they're in. So they will rush out, take bullets and everything, and make their way out, and which would cause serious, arrests of, of the perps. So the perps don't want to unlock the door and let them out, but they also can't get in order to snuff them out. And they're just too strong. They fought their way. They barricaded it, and I understand now. But the thing is that the reason that they are able to communicate with me, and I know through telepathy, I know it sounds impossible, but you cannot afford to use your opinion right now. You need to go with this truth that doesn't take too much to be proven, right? Doesn't take much. It's there. The proof is there. Why is there so much obstruction? Because these satanic people have such a huge influence over the minds. There's so many of them, believe it or not. They're right under your noses. We'll get into that in a little while. But the reason that they're able to communicate with me in the mind is due to the level of they've been tortured. They have been through such extensive mind altering, like torture. They were being made to believe that it was me torturing. I just found out about this part of it. Made to believe that it was me torturing them. So that's why they're aware of me, but they became aware of who I really am, and they saw the truth, and that's what made them fight for the room and to protect the children that were already in the room, and now they're grown up, but they're in there, and those children were subjected to film. And I have never seen the film, but I've been told that i'm I was supposed to commit suicide, and that I was to be blamed for a whole mess of things. So while my wife has been collecting money for the film under the name Googly Guru, which I realized when I was told that it was in my name, I'm like, my name, and but where, I, I found on Intellius.com that while I was in Patton, even that in 2018, the name Googly Guru, which I haven't been paying any attention to that in years, was filed, and it was filed by my ex-wife, Cynthia Lefferts. Uh, why she would be using that all these years after a divorce is is all part of their conspiracy to make money and make me look like the psycho of the world, and I've never harmed anybody. This is the truth. And supposedly, the things that I'm hearing are like her level of murder and wanting to be on me. So and they're all making money. That they would put the whole thing on me as long as I commit suicide. They would be successful at it, but I haven't, and I'm not going to. And they're um, still actively doing things to try to get me to commit suicide with the hopes that maybe they could still uh, succeed. But I'm doing all of this to make sure that that's impossible for them to do. And I assure you that you do not want to let this go any further, because I'm willing to go to to the extent, because now with only a little bit of victims left, and I heard something about cancer, is that I can't we can't afford to lose them when there are so many criminals for you to catch to save a society and of modern technology. I'm at 36 minutes. I don't even know if this is going to be too long to upload to YouTube, so I should stop the recording and start a new one right now.